didn't get to do that. It wasn't just once. He played a few times. He was, chosen, selected on a number of occasions. He clearly is a very good player. And I never quite understood why Amorim didn't seem to like him. I mean, I remember last season when they were struggling as well, thinking, and certainly this season, what's happened to Mainoo? And I sort of look into it and say, has he gone somewhere else? But of course, he just wasn't in Amorim's thinking, it seemed. So you're right to say what happens now, because I think they were going to either send him out on loan or something like that. Again, it depends on what they're trying to do in terms of getting a new replacement in, whether they get a permanent replacement, Ole or someone else, at this stage, because it's said that Darren Fletcher was only managing for the one game last night. That's what, I mean, he said that himself, and he was very grateful to the club for giving him that honour, and he'd spoken to Alex Ferguson to get his views, and Alex backed him as well. But there was no suggestion that he's going to be for more than one game. Now, they could change their mind, but that might suggest they've already got somebody in mind, i.e. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That could be what's going to happen. And then it will be for the new manager to make a decision. And I would be surprised if in the meantime, while this is happening, they let Mainoo go off on loan somewhere, because a new manager may well say, no, he's a good guy. He's a young fella. He's played for England. He's got good experience now. Let's see what he can do. And, of course, any new manager comes into a club, he wants to look at all the players and make his own decision about who will formulate his first team and so on. So I think for the moment, that's on ice, whatever happens to him. Yeah. And then I'll probably read tomorrow that Kobbie Mainoo has gone on loan somewhere after my definitive comments. But I don't think he'll go anywhere for the moment.
No. Now, talking about managers, because you did bring out a very good point about Amorim's contract, being a head coach, not the manager. Now, but we often refer to him as Manchester United manager. We don't refer to him as Manchester United head coach. Now, would there be other managers that have the same clause in their contract saying, well, you're not a manager, you're a head coach? Yeah. And I'm talking about coaches like Pep Guardiola. Would he be head coach and not manager? Do we think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in Pep's case, he's manager, but there are definitely some, because when you read about them online or whatever, if it's the press journalists, they almost always make sure that they give him the correct term. You do sometimes hear head coach. I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think I am. That the Villa manager, Unai Emery, I believe is head coach. And if you read about him, they'll say head coach. But now, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he is a head coach. And there's others. From the top of my head, I can't think what they are. Glasner, for example, is a manager. And that does imply that they have a lot of input, because most clubs have some sort of director of football, even if they call them something else. But managers will obviously want to feed into that and let the club know which players they want. So that is part of being a manager. But yeah, this is the thing with a head coach. By definition and by the title, it strongly implies that their job is to have a coaching team, which they do, of course, and then that you have a set piece coach, you have a something else coach, a goalkeeper coach, and he's the head coach with the overall say. But he doesn't really have any say into what new players come to the club. So it's quite an interesting thing that Amorim has raised, because undoubtedly there are other managers, because in the past, going back, I don't know, a few years, it was always a new manager. But that kind of started to change with the advent of the director of football. and it
Right.
used to cause friction in the past. And I've an idea. Again, I'm vaguely remembering certain things, but I vaguely remember Harry Redknapp when he was managing at Portsmouth and maybe elsewhere, that he had differences with the director of football. And there were very real differences, such that they sort of, it may not have been Harry, but I think it may have been. You almost get to the point you're not speaking to each other because there's a lot of friction. So it's maybe Amorim has done the game a favour by raising this, because I can bet your bottom dollar that other head coaches will be saying, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I thought I was coming here. Okay, they said I was head coach, but I still assumed I was going to be the manager, because there was not one day where it was suddenly announced, right, we're now changing this title and this is what it will mean. It was almost slipped in to a manager's job. Now, they're not going to worry because they're still going to be fabulously paid, certainly in the Premier League. Maybe managers in the lower leagues who are head coaches will notice it more. But I think he's raised something that will chime with a lot of other head coaches. Some will say, fine, yeah, I came here as a head coach. Others will say, no, I believed I was coming effectively as a manager. So, yeah, interesting point he's raised.
Yeah, it's not something that I've actually looked into. I've never had to look into it, because I just refer to all of them as manager. I think coach, coach, head coach, and something that actually almost made me look into it was Liverpool recently. Liverpool recently had to get rid of their set piece coach, along with the assistant head coach or something. And I just read, and I just bruised over it. I just read it, and I thought, oh, they got rid of. But it did tell me something. It did tell me that actually there's a set piece manager. I think, why is there a set piece manager when
set piece coach? Set piece
coach. Yeah, sorry, a set piece coach. And I thought, well, why do they have to have a? I thought the manager. I thought Arne Slot. Now, I don't know if he's the manager now or head coach, but I thought Arne Slot.
Yeah, he's the manager. Yeah, he's the manager.
I thought he was I thought he oversaw everything. I knew they had assistants. Now, whether that's an assistant manager or an assistant head coach, I don't know now. This is something that I'll have to really look into. Right. So, talking about manager sackings, I'm